I'm going to show y'all this video of children being brought to a BDSM kink show. Gays Against Groomers tweets, the parent that takes their children to events like this should lose custody of their children. And the companies and people that put them on should be locked up. Absolutely revolting. So here is a video. It says, no one is going to gaslight me and tell me to accept this ish in the name of inclusion. This video, in my opinion, is probably inappropriate for all audiences. Well, not all, but, for people under a certain age. But, there's children present. And the left says this is totally inclusive and fine. And there's a baby and there's another baby and another baby and another baby. And I'll tell you this, YouTube, if you demonetize this video, you are bigoted and transphobic because they have children there. So any advertiser that rejects this is a bigot and may as well be a hate group. So don't make me have to call you out. Now, I don't know which companies, because it's all programmatic ads, meaning that YouTube just runs ads. I have no idea who's advertising on these channels. But I'll just say, any of the advertisers that refuse to advertise on this, they're transphobic. Here's the video. You ready for this? Yeah. So there's no sound. The video first shows a guy in bondage straps swinging around in front of babies for some reason. I have no idea why they're bringing children and babies to this, but this ain't even the worst one. And he spins. Here's a guy in a thong, an adult man in a thong, doing some kind with I don't know what he's just marching around in a thong, a G-string in front of children. Why? And then there you can see the baby on the ground. No one is going to gaslight me into accepting this. Yes, my friends, pedos are grooming your children, and these people are bringing their babies to this stuff. Look at this. I gotta say, I somewhat agree. Gays Against Groomers says the parents that take their children to these events should lose custody of their children. Well, here's the challenge. That might be the point. So here's what happens in the future. These events go on, and then you end up with conservatives winning, and they then come out and say, if you brought your kids to these events, we are taking your kids from you. The parents then go, but I just wanted to show my child adult entertainment. And you're like, yeah, you're crazy. Here's the problem. What do these kids then become wards of the state? That ain't improving anything. And then some liberal wins. Now they have all these wards of the state and they just bring the drag queens into the government institutions. Yeah, that's what they've already been doing. So what? The state takes the kids and then what? Puts them in a school with more drag queens? Here's Fox News. Drag queen forces child to leave class for denying 73 genders. School teaches anal sex to 11-year-olds. Wow. Students were reportedly shown how skin grafts could be used to craft an artificial penis. If you still have your kids in these schools, you have no excuse. We had Josie, the redheaded libertarian, on the show. She was living up in, I think it was Massachusetts. And then one day her daughter came out to her as a lesbian, her 9-year-old daughter. And she asked her daughter, do you like girls? And she goes, no. I said, well, then you're not a lesbian. The school was trying to trans her kid, telling her daughter that she was actually gay and grooming her for this. It's so weird. Why? I've heard other stories. I have other friends who tell me the exact same thing. Their young daughters come home and they say, one friend said that their daughter came back and said that she was pansexual. And she was like, that means you like kissing girls. And she went, what? No, I don't. It's that's what pan means. She was like, no, I thought they said it means you like everybody. She's like, it's pan. What are they teaching you in these schools? Well, it's right here. They're grooming your kids and it is getting worse. They say the Isle of Man government has suspended sex education at schools after a drag queen allegedly forced a student to leave class for refuting the concept of 73 genders. 73? That's bigoted. There's 729. You can't just say 73. A petition from parents of students attending Queen Elizabeth II High School previously called for an immediate investigation into the curriculum. The petition was addressed to the school's head teacher, Charlotte Clark, and signed by more than 500 people. We consider the attendance of a drag queen in class and alienating students clearly confused about the information discussed during the session wholly inappropriate. Speaking with Energy FM, Marown Parish Commissioner Vice Chairman Eliza claimed that children as young as 11 were taught by a drag queen and told there are 73 genders. One student responded that there were only 2 genders, which prompted the drag queen to say, "You've upset me," and ask the student to leave the class. Yes, there are only 2 genders. I'm sorry. Genders are not absolute. They are social in nature. Biological sex isn't, but they overlap with each other tremendously. That is to say, someone who is a tomboy is still a woman. A female who wears overalls and works on an oil rig is still a woman. They don't become a man simply because they're doing things that are typically associated with masculinity. You see how that works? So even though we can say the social functions around biological sexes, we would define as genders, even though you would define it that way, it doesn't change the fact that a biological female who is lifting weights and likes women is still a woman. So it's weird that they try to do this stuff, but I guess the end result is just to destroy the system. The representative also alleged that one group of students was taught how to perform anal and oral sex. Yeah, 11-year-olds. Another group was shown how skin grafts are taken from a patient's arm to create an artificial penis. This is the craziest thing to me. What is the purpose of penile inversion vaginoplasty? That is when they take an adult male, well, typically, because you can't do it to a kid because they don't have enough material, and they invert the genitals to create a wound for which another male can penetrate to have sex with. Well, advertisers, if you got a problem with this subject matter, you're bigots. Well, I mean, you're paying for it. You're supporting these things. Your employees are supporting these things. You can't have it both ways. You see these school board hearings where a parent comes in and is reading a book like Genderqueer, and then they go, whoa, you can't read that here. It's inappropriate. We don't want to hear this. And you're like, what? How could they say that? The parent then goes, this is in a grade school library. And they're like, we don't care. Your systems have been corrupted. Don't you get it? These board members are either in on it or they don't care. They're not going to solve the problem. I remember there was that one story where a bunch of parents voted to oust the board right there on the spot. And they're like, you can't do it. It's not formal. It's not formal. We control the institution. It's like every single parent is here all saying, no, we're voting you out. We've agreed. Nope. There's a formal process by which you must file paperwork. Get out of here, dude. Confidence is all that matters. And unfortunately for a lot of people, they have confidence in the system, even when they, as a community, say no to this. So long as a larger authority comes in and says, we're doing it anyway, they say, okay. I wonder where all this goes. Clark also weighed in on the controversy and said that he had viewed the video from Energy FM circulating on social media related to the outcry from parents. Pupils were told about sex change operations. Having viewed a video which is currently circulating on social media relating to the school's RSE curriculum and its delivery, we are concerned that there could be a number of inaccuracies. Oh, look at this book. What Are You Supposed to Be? It said several children at once. An elementary school teacher is seen reading a book about gender to students in Richmond, California. These people are dangerous cultists. You know what's funny? The left likes to criticize Christians. And I'm watching 1923, and they really just hate Catholics. Okay. They really just demonize them. But what's the worst case scenario for someone being raised Christian? Well, I grew up, went to Catholic school. And the worst thing that happened was I cried when I didn't do my homework. Then I went to public school and people regularly did not do their homework and no one cared. And I was like, so then what's the point of doing any of this? But that was it. You raise someone to be Christian and the worst case scenario is they're a Christian. You bring this cult ideology to kids and the worst case scenario is they sterilize themselves. Or an adult will sterilize them because they don't know better. So yeah, you want to criticize religion and Christianity? I remember when we had this big debate about genital mutilation, and there was concern because Dearborn, Michigan was seeing high instances of female circumcision. And we all thought, everyone was like, yo, this is really bad. You shouldn't do this. Feminists were outraged. Now feminists are actively defending overt sterilization of these children and child sex change operations. Okay. That's why I say, the left has gone insane. And that's why so many former liberals and feminists are now conservatives, apparently. But that just means the conservative base is big. Making a liberal into a conservative, telling a liberal they're conservative now, but they hold the same views, doesn't get rid of the actual conservatives. It just makes the right much bigger. Well, if you stand by and you don't say anything about this and you keep your kids in these schools, that's your problem. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes. Stick around and I'll see you all shortly.